In this video, we are going to learn about polymorphic queries in Salesforce Apex. So let's understand what is meant by polymorphic queries. So before understanding on polymorphic queries, it's good to understand what is meant by polymorphic relationship. So normally you might have learned about different type of relationship in Salesforce Apex. For example, in Salesforce, basically lookup relationship, master detail relationship, hierarchical relationship, right? So polymorphic relationship is a special type of relationship which will allow the child object to relate to more than one parent object. It means that normally in lookup relationship or master detailed relationship, you will be having a one child object and you will be having one parent object. In polymorphic relationship, the parent object may be many. You may have n number of objects as a parent. So this type of relationship is generally called as polymorphic relationship. So this relationship generally, you cannot do it in a custom object, but the standard objects in Salesforce has this polymorphic relationship fields in it. Such good example is we have two standard objects called task and event. Standard object means these objects are created by Salesforce itself. We generally call it as a standard objects. So the task and event are the two objects which has a built-in polymorphic relationship in it. So we have two fields in it in both objects, task and event. One field is called WhoId and another field is called WhatId. These two fields are a relationship field which is available in task as well as event, but the parent can be more than one. The parent is actually more than one. For example, when we are discussing about WhoId, you look at this picture in the presentation. In the task object, we have a relationship field called WhoId. So who means generally it represents a person. In Salesforce, person means it might be a lead record or it might be a contact record. So this task object has a polymorphic relationship field named as WhoId, which has lead as a parent as well as contact as a parent. It means that you can create a task for a lead and you can create a task for contact also. So the task object can be work as a child for lead or contact. If you want to relate either lead or either contact, then you have to store the lead ID or contact ID in the WhoId field of task object. So this is generally called as a polymorphic relationship. Similarly, you look at the event. So event object is generally used when we are going to create an appointment with the customer. We wanted to meet someone, so we wanted to schedule a meeting. In those scenarios, we will be using the calendars. So when we are using calendars, we will be creating a record in the event object in Salesforce. In event object also, we have WhoId and WhatId. So in event also, WhoId and WhatId exist. So if you look at WhatId, other than lead and contact, all other objects can be as a parent, but at the same time, their information or their record IDs, parent record IDs will be stored in the event object WhatId. The same applicable for task also. So what I'm trying to say here is, if your parent is a account or your parent is an opportunity, still you can use it as a parent for event, but at the same time, in the event object, you have to use the polymorphic relationship field called WhatId. So WhoId, as I explained earlier, it is a lookup to lead and contact. When we are discussing about the polymorphic relationship WhatId, it can be any custom object, and you see there are n number of object exist there. I will take you directly to my org and I will show you how it really looks like. Let me go to the object manager and let's search for the object task. So if you go to task object, under fields and relationship, you can find a field called WhoId, right? The API name is WhoId, the label is name. It is a lookup to contact comma lead. So normally in relationship, we may not see more than one object. Here you can see more than one object as a parent. Similarly, we have another field called WhatId. right? This WhatId is a API name and label is related to. Look at the list of objects. So there are n number of standard objects, which is as a parent for this WhatId in the task object. So this is what the polymorphic relationship field. So you can create a task for a dealer, or you can create a task for a department, employee, retail store, employee log, inquiry. These many standard objects can be set up as a parent for the task object. So the task object will be using polymorphic relationship field to manage the relationship between more than one parent object. So with this understanding, let me take you back to the presentation. So we have a scenario. So we need to retrieve the task created for account and opportunity. As I told earlier, a task can be a child for account, opportunity, case, employee, department, right? So a task can be created for these many objects, right? The requirement here is we need to retrieve task records which is created only for account and opportunity. So how to achieve this? So since it's a polymorphic relationship, it is allowed to store account ID or contact ID in the what ID of task object, right? So to achieve this, we can use a qualifier called type. We generally call it as a type qualifier. I will explain this in the developer console. Let me take you to the developer console. Let me come to the query editor, and I'm going to write the query right. For example, select I need to retrieve ID, comma subject, comma as well as status from task object. Okay, so this will retrieve all the records in my org which is created under the task object. So the task object records are listed here, but when you look at here, it is created for the task is created for different parents. The requirement here is we need to filter only the task created for account as well as opportunity. For that, we can apply a filter. So I'm going to apply a filter where, and then we have to use the relationship field. As you are aware of that, account and opportunity will be associated with the WhatId field. So I'm going to take you to the relationship field in the task object. You can find a related to field here, that is WhatId. Let me open this. Since we are going to apply the filter on top of this particular polymorphic relationship field. You have to open the field. There you can find a field name attribute called what. Even though the API name is WhatId, if you want to filter based on this field in the relationship, then you have to use the field name of this property, this field. The field name says that it is what, not WhatId. WhatId is the API name. This is a field name called what. I'm going to use this in my SOQL. So what I'm going to do here is a what dot. What represents the parent object, right? What dot, we are using a qualifier called type. What dot type. So what dot type, and then I'm going to apply in, because I'm going to retrieve the task associated with account and opportunity. So more than one object. It means that you can use in. If you are going to use your filter in the SOQL, you are going to use in, then the next one will be the collection, right? So I'm going to use in. What all are the objects? We want to retrieve the task associated with account, as well as I want to retrieve records associated with opportunity. So I'm going to use opportunity here. Now this is the total rows. Look at the output. Total rows, previous output, total rows is equal to 5. Now I'm trying to execute, and now the total rows is 3. It means that we have 3 tasks created in our org, and these 3 tasks are associated with account as well as associated with opportunity, right? Sometimes you might be wondering how you will identify which is associated with account, which is associated with opportunity. For that, we can again use the what field, WhatId field. Since we are using in the relationship, I'm going to use what dot name. Let me try to execute now. So let me try to execute. Now I'm able to get the account name as well as I'm getting the opportunity name. So using this what.name, you can retrieve basically the name field, parent field also. Similarly, let me try what.type. What.type, and let me try to execute. Now I'm getting the account as well as opportunity. So this column gives me the clarity that this particular record, the first record that is associated, first task that is associated with account, and the remaining two tasks are associated with opportunity. So in this way, with the help of WhatId field and with the help of type qualifier, you can try to retrieve the records associated with the parents, in the SOQL with the help of relationship SOQL. Since it is a polymorphic relationship, you are allowed to use this qualifier, type qualifier, right? So the type qualifier helps you to identify the task created for a particular object or more than one object, right? So this will be really helpful, I believe. So the next topic what we are going to see is another type of polymorphic queries. Let's take a simple scenario. ABC industry uses Salesforce to track events related to companies and sales opportunities. Just now that's what we have completed, right? We saw that there are a couple of opportunities created in task object for account as well as opportunity. So in this particular scenario also, ABC industry wanted to retrieve the same records, right? But ABC industry wanted to retrieve task, subject, status created for account or an opportunity. Also, for the account, company want to get the name and rating as a result. For opportunity, they want to retrieve name and amount. So the checkpoint here is we want to retrieve the task associated with account and opportunity. That is fine. We already did that. But the change in this particular requirement is if the task is created for account, I wanted to get the account name and rating. If the task is associated with opportunity, along with the task information, I wanted to get the name and amount from opportunity, right? The fields to be retrieved from the parent are different in this scenario, right? That's the change between the previous scenario and the current scenario. Normally, if you want to retrieve records from more than one object, you will be writing different SOQLs, right? The question here is, can we achieve in a single SOQL? The answer is yes, you can achieve in a single SOQL. For the polymorphic relationship, similar to type, we have one more qualifier called TYPEOF. The TYPEOF qualifier is similar to switch. Switch, if the object is account, I want to get these fields. So when the object is an opportunity, I want to retrieve these kinds of fields. In this way, you can write a SOQL with the help of TYPEOF qualifier. What is the syntax for the TYPEOF qualifier? How to do that? Let me take you to the syntax. It is pretty straightforward. If you look at this SOQL in your screen, it says that select type of qualifier and then the polymorphic field. Here you have to mention the polymorphic field. What is the polymorphic field, right? Similarly, who is also a polymorphic field. Since we are trying to retrieve records from account and opportunity, generally those informations are connected in the task object with WhatId relationship field, polymorphic relationship field. That's the reason in the TYPEOF I'm using what. So type of what? If it is an account, similar to switch, that's what I told, right? When account, if it is an account, then I wanted to retrieve name comma rating. When opportunity, then I want to retrieve name comma amount. If it is a TYPEOF, then it will end with the end statement. From which object you wanted to retrieve? From task. For all the tasks you wanted to retrieve this information? No. Where the type is in account and opportunity. Let's take you to the developer console and let me go to the anonymous window. I'm going to write this SOQL here. So the result is going to be a task, right? So it will be a list of tasks. I'm going to write list of tasks, right? List of tasks. And I'm going to give a name called tasks. Okay, the list name is task. Now I'm going to write the SOQL here. And the SOQL is, let me write like this. Let me write in capital. So select, I want to retrieve, account records, as well as I want to retrieve records from the, opportunity, right? But at the same time, I want to retrieve this with the help of polymorphic relationship field. So I'm going to apply type of what, right? Type of what? Type of what? And the type of what? When the type of what is account, and the type of what is account, then I want to retrieve name field as well as the rating field from my account object. At the same time, when if it is an opportunity, if the parent is an opportunity, then I want to retrieve name, opportunity name, as well as opportunity amount. Since it is a type of, then definitely it should end with a statement called end. And then we are going to apply from. From which object you want to retrieve? I want to retrieve records from task object. From the task object, you want to retrieve all the records? No, I need to apply a filter. So I'm going to apply a filter where the type, qualifier which we have used previously. What.type, what.type in, it is an account or opportunity, right? It can be an account. So the parent can be an account, or the parent can be an opportunity. The parent can be an opportunity. So I'm done with my SOQL, polymorphic relationship SOQL. I'm done with the polymorphic relationship SOQL. Now I need to execute, and I have to check whether it is executing properly or not. It is producing some output in the debug log. So I want to check that. So I'm going to do system.debug. I'm going to do system.debug and then tasks. All right. So let me put a semicolon and try to execute this. So the syntax is correct. I'm able to execute this. If I go for debug only, you can see the records are created, but no other information we were able to see. Basically, we were not able to see the account information or opportunity information, right? The reason behind is you need to understand how the SOQL executes and what's the output actually the SOQL is going to return. Since we are going to use a type of, the SOQL will return the results as a list of S object. I will explain with your presentation here. So let me take you to the presentation. Okay. So now the SOQL is getting executed. How the output will be produced by this polymorphic relationship query? So this polymorphic relationship query will return a list of tasks. This list of tasks consists of S objects. Each and every account record, which is a parent of a task, you will have an account record in the form of S object. For each and every opportunity, you will be having an S object record. So you will not get the account information, opportunity information directly in the account format or opportunity format. It will be in the S object format. You will get the result from account. It will have a name field as well as rating field, but it will be S object. Okay, so because it is associated with what, so you will get a S object. For opportunity, you will get S object. For example, you have a task for 2 accounts and 3 opportunities. Then for each and every account and opportunity, you will be having a list of S objects. Now it is your responsibility to parse this S object to retrieve the required results. I will explain you with the code now. So let me try to take you here, and I will explain this, a little bit better by writing the, by writing the, looping statements inside this anonymous window so that you can understand better. The first mission, I need to loop through all the results returned by the relationship SOQL, that is polymorphic relationship SOQL. It is going to return the list of tasks. So I have taken task. Each and every record in the list will be the task, right? So for task, I need to create a variable called record. Let me keep the variable name as record. I'm going to use the curly braces here. So first record, second record, first record will have a S object. Second record also an S object. Third record is also an S object. So how to get the S object from the task? For that, there is a method called getSObject. So you can use this getSObject method. To retrieve the getSObject, you have to mention which polymorphic field you have used. We have used a polymorphic field called what. So I have to mention what. So first task record, from the task record, we are getting the S object, and the S object is created with the help of what polymorphic relationship field what. So I have to use get S object what. If it is who, then I have to use get S object who. We are using what here, so I'm using what. So definitely this will going to return an S object, right? So I'm going to store it in a variable that is a S object type. For example, let me give it a name called WhatObj, right? So what I did here in line number 15 is I have retrieved the first S object from the list and I have stored it in a S object variable. If I want to print a name and rating from account, I need to identify this S object is an account or not. So I'm going to write a condition if the what object, right? What we have, in our hand now, what object. If you want to identify the type of the S object, there is a method in Apex called instance of. You can use it. So what object? Instance of account. So what object? Instance of account. Then I want to print the account record details. Suppose if the instance of what object is opportunity, then I want to retrieve the opportunity field. So I'm going to copy paste it and I'm going to use else if here, right? So let's play with the account first. Suppose if the first S object record is an account, then we need to typecast. Then only we can use dot notation to access the field, right? So I'm going to simply create a variable for account object. ACC is equal to, we have a what obj here. This is an S object. I cannot store, so I need to explicitly typecast. So I'm going to do a typecast here. And the typecast will be, the typecast is going to be account, right? So I'm going to use account. So we in our hands have an S object. I'm converting the S object into account so that I can use dot notation to retrieve the name as well as rating. So simply I'm going to print system.debug. I'm going to print, let's say for example, ACC name is equal to, and then I'm going to use plus. We have an object ACC here, so ACC dot name. Similarly, I want to print the account rating also. Let me copy paste it here and let me move it to the next line. Now ACC name, instead of name, I'm going to use a rating here, and instead of ACC dot name, I'm going to use a rating. The same method we have to follow for opportunity also. Suppose we have retrieved one record from the task as a result of a polymorphic relationship SOQL. Suppose if it is an opportunity, then it will come here, right? So I'm going to change this into opportunity. If it is an opportunity, simply the same steps you have to follow. First, you need to typecast it. So it is going to be an opportunity, right? Opportunity. And I'm going to use OPP here to differentiate opportunity.name. Why we need to use name two times? Let's delete that. Here also it is repeated. Let's delete that. Is OPP name and OPP amount, I believe, right? From the relationship SOQL, we are getting the amount. So ACC amount, OPP amount. Here also we have to use, let's use OPP here for the object. I'm going to use OPP here. So OPP.name as well as OPP.rating. So let me try to execute and see. We have any issues here. Variable does not exist or rating, right? In which line? Sorry, for opportunity it is going to be amount. So we have to change it. So let me try to execute. I have executed and let's see the outcome. We have executed a polymorphic relationship SOQL with the help of TYPEOF. We have retrieved the relevant fields from the respective account object and the relevant field from the opportunity object. So opportunity name, this particular opportunity doesn't have any amount, so amount is null. And similarly, we have this account name, the rating is not set up, and the next account name, the rating is not set up. That's why these fields are null. If you set up the values for this field, definitely we will get the values for these fields also. You can try the same. So the point here is we have successfully queried records from the account as well as opportunity in a single SOQL with the help of TYPEOF. Since it is a relationship SOQL, polymorphic relationship SOQL, you can get these results with the help of a single SOQL and a TYPEOF qualifier. So the TYPEOF qualifier, it will return records from both the objects in the form of S object. So you need to get each and every record with the help of getS object from the list, and after that you need to convert it into the respective account and opportunity. Before that, you have to identify it's an account or opportunity. For that, you can make use of instance of. Hope this video given you some clarity on what is meant by polymorphic relationship, how polymorphic relationship field exist, and how to write the type qualifiers, type and TYPEOF to retrieve information from the parent records.
If you are interested to learn Salesforce, visit AJ Skill Development website. There you can find our course curriculum and you can come to know about the list of courses we are offering. We are offering Salesforce Administrator and Salesforce Development courses. To know about us and the team, you can visit our About Us section. This is an organization we are doing Salesforce training from 2018, and we have trained and guided 2000 plus candidates so far. And if you also want to know about our placement assistance, visit our placement assistance section where you can find the list of people and the category. You can see the list of people who got trained and placed from our side. You can also visit their LinkedIn pages to get to know about our training and also the feedback from the relevant trainees. Okay. And also, if you want to do the course inquiry, click on contact us. You will see the form. You can fill the form and submit the inquiry. Our team will get back to us. Thank you.